Good morning, Fort McMurray, Wood Buffalo, and the rest of the world. You've tuned in to the Mac City Morning Show. I am your host, Elliot Pierre, and we're going to start the show off the same way we start every show off, with a moment of gratitude. I know you could be doing a million other things with your time, so the fact that you spend it with us truly does mean the world to me. So thank you. On that note, Tanner, hit him with the intro.
Whatty up, boss? Welcome to the Mac City Morning Show.
Hey everybody, Keith Simpson here from Norrell Toyota. We support the Oil Barons. We've joined the drive-in movie theater. We're involved in the marathon here in Fort McMurray, and that's what makes this community such an amazing place to live.
All right, and we're back. So big shout out to Norrell Toyota, Keith, Fad, Nimmer, all the boys and girls down at Norrell for being the title sponsors of the show. Definitely appreciate the support, so thank you very much. On that note, as you know, I don't introduce my guests because they could do a better job at that than I. So, sir, can you please tell everybody at home who you are and what you're about?
Sure. So, first of all, thanks for having me here, Elliot.
You are welcome.
This is going to be a lot of fun. So, my name's Barry Morishita. I am the current leader of the Alberta Party, which is a provincial party here in Alberta. I am the former mayor of the city of Brooks, and I've been a councillor for 16 years prior. And
Okay.
I ran the provincial organization, which was then known as the Alberta Urban Municipalities Association, for 4 years on the board. And so that's an association that represents summer villages, towns, and cities across the province with 267 members. So
Okay.
that's kind of the professional career. Little personal stuff. I'm half Japanese, so kind of a cool fact, but kind of keeps you thinking about things. Is my father was actually born in an internment camp
Okay.
in Kashmir, BC,
Okay.
just outside of Hope in 1945.
Wow.
I have a wife and a couple kids and a couple grandkids and 5 siblings and 4 siblings, sorry. And so lots going on.
Yeah. So I'm just going to jump into the obvious question to me. You have a lot going on. We only chatted for maybe 3 minutes before filming. You seem like a very happy guy.
Yeah.
You seem like a happy guy. Why in the world would you decide to throw your hat in the political arena, especially in this day and age where so much scrutiny is there? I'm assuming it's going to affect your happiness a little bit. So what about this new role or new journey that you want to embark on? What's the passion behind you making this move?
So that is a very good question. You know, politicians always say that. They say that's a very good question just to give themselves a little bit of time to reel in what they're going to say.
That's right.
So, so I was very happy in my municipal life.
Right.
Loved being the mayor. I love being the president of AUMA. It's just a cool thing at the community level. So one of the things I did was I toured the whole province.
Okay.
Went to nearly every single member across the province.
Wow.
Over 4 years in
That's
the summertime.
cool.
Yeah, and you see so much resource and so much ingenuity and so much passion there.
Mm-hmm.
So my passion to serve has always kind of been there from a very young age. Like interested in politics really early, 14 and like very into it.
Yeah.
Been part of campaigns, and when I was kind of winding down my job at AUMA, decided I wasn't going to be president and it was time for someone else. Looking around, and I was actually encouraging some other people to do this job because of what you just talked about.
Yeah.
Kind of the toxic environment, politics is the only thing you go in with a reputation here to start with, and when you leave, it's down here.
That's
so
right.
why would you do it, right?
Yeah,
why would you do it? So, but actually, it was kind of a combination of things. I love doing this work. I love meeting people. I love solving problems.
Right.
You know, kind of one thing that pushed me over the edge is I have 2 grandchildren now. One's 5, one's 3, one's starting kindergarten, and the curriculum thing. I actually read the grade 1 curriculum completely. Listened to the music that my 6-year-old's going to listen to in September, supposedly, and I don't know. I don't think I wouldn't want to go to grade 2 after that.
That's right.
And then it was just lots of conversations with younger people that were not sure they wanted to stay in Alberta. And
That's right.
I'm born and raised.
Yeah.
And I've never talked about that. But so that's a frightening thing. So
that is.
I thought it was time to try to bring a different quality to Alberta politics. So
very cool.
Here I am.
That is a scary thing. I'm also born and raised in Alberta, Fort McMurray, Alberta. Same with Tanner. We're both local to this community. And for my whole life, people came to Alberta. People came to Fort McMurray because there was opportunity.
Yeah.
And this is the first time over the last few years, a little bit before COVID and definitely during, where I don't want to use the word exodus because it's not that much, but it's borderline where you're having people saying like, yeah, you know what, maybe I'll go to a different province to try something out, where you're like, wow, I don't ever remember hearing that before. That's kind of messed up.
Yeah, well, I think Alberta in the past has always there's always opportunity. It's hard work. We work hard. It's hard work being up here. Man, I'm never gonna complain about snow again. I'm from Southern Alberta.
That's right.
Now that I'm here, I'm never complaining about it again. Facts. So everybody kind of is drawn to it, and they see a future, so that's why they stay. And I think people were, because we make good money, we're well served that way, but people were just, that wasn't enough. There's all this heaviness around all these issues, doctors and teachers and professionals, and uncertainty, and certainly compounded by COVID, no doubt. Yeah. But there were lots of underlying problems that have been here for a long time, and I think people need to be connected to their politics. They need to be connected to their government, and that's the only way I've ever done it. So I hope it translates.
So you're wearing the shirt right now, Alberta Party. For a lot of the viewers at home, myself included, when we have politicians on, I like to be as kind of dumb as possible in regards to ask the questions that I think the average person who doesn't know a lot about politics would ask. Yeah. So what is the difference between the Alberta Party and some of the other people who are running in regards to, like, what do you guys kind of hope to achieve as a party and yourself, and what are you guys kind of based in?
Sure. So that's another good question. Mm-hmm. So our system is kind of built on parties. Right. I'm not honestly not a big fan of party politics, because the traditional sense of it, there's kind of a rigidity to it, kind of predisposed perspectives and answers to questions. Right. So rooted in ideology. So, we often hear on the news the right wing or the left wing, and I hate those kind of labels, but that's kind of where we've come, and that's where all the division happens in a lot of issues. Right. So the Alberta Party takes a principled approach. So we're not kind of left-right ideology. Okay. We take a set of principles, and then we solve problems. So it's a lot like municipal politics, where you have a group of people that might have, one might be a fiscal conservative, might really be interested in finances, wants to balance the books, and other people might have different perspectives on social services or education. At the end of the day, all of this serves people. Right. No one builds, you shouldn't build a road just to have a road so that you can put your name on it or something like that. Right. At the end of the day, we're trying to serve people. The only way you can serve them is to understand them, listen to them, and then try to, advance them, whether it's education or jobs or whatever it is. And right. So we take a principled approach. Okay. Versus coming in and saying, here's what we're going to do. Right. Here's we're going to cut taxes because that's the only way to create jobs. That's not how we come in at it. Okay. We look at the landscape, apply principles, bring in really smart people, and solve problems. It's kind of a practical way to do it. Right. Okay. Very cool. Now listen, Tanner just hit me with the signal that he's ready with his questions for the Mac City Minute. Okay. He's going to ask you some questions. I have no idea what he's going to ask you. I wish you nothing but the best of luck. Tanner, hit him with the Mac City Minute. All right, Tanner.
Alrighty, question number 1. How do you think that owning Magic Auto Parts shop helped you with your political career?
Okay, so I was a local auto parts store. I owned it from a very young age. It just got me connected to the community. I was big into racing, loved racing and muscle cars and engine building. It was just fun. Another group of people.
Question number 2. If not working in politics, then what career path would you want to work in?
Oh, wow, that's, you know what? I don't still something government related, probably, whether it was maybe consulting or community building, something like that, yeah.
Question number 3. What is your favorite part of being such a big voice in the province you grew up in?
My favorite part is that, I see it around me. So when I feel like I'm speaking for a lot of people when I speak, and that is pretty cool. Yeah, no doubt.
Question number 4. What is your biggest personal drive for your political career?
My biggest personal drive is really to have a future. I'm really lucky. My kids right now live, 5 minutes away from me and an hour and a half away from me. My grandkids live 5 minutes away. So I would like to keep them in Alberta. So I'd like to have a province where they don't leave and they get to keep me company when I'm old.
There you you go.
And your final question. What is one thing about running a political party that the normal person might be surprised by?
Might be surprised by, you know how intricate it is. Got to remember again, people are very different, right? If the three of us were going to form a political party tomorrow, you know, we'd all have our ideas and we got to build it together, and you have to be aware. It takes a lot. It's very complex. It's not as simple as the 30-second takes you see on TV or kind of the glib comments you see in question period, because that's all BS anyway.
Yeah.
But it's complex, and it has to be centered around people. So I think people would realize it's not about me. They always kind of center it around that, but that's not how it is.
And those have been your 5 questions.
Thanks, Tanner.
Now, the thing about Tanner's questions and the thing about this show is we don't do any preparation before people show up. So every time Tanner asks a question, like that first one you asked about the automotive background, like how did you know that?
I'm just good on a computer.
Yeah. A little Googling. Yeah, I owned Magic's Auto Parts. I started with some partners and people I went to school with, and I owned it for nearly 30 years.
Cool. So do you have a love of cars then?
Absolutely.
Okay. Do you have like a car right now that is like your baby, your gem?
I don't. My daughter actually has. We have a 1969 Trans Am in the garage.
Okay.
Very, very cool car.
Yeah.
I'm always been a big Mopar fan. Okay. And I've had a couple.
Yeah.
But I'm a big Mopar fan, so I'm like the sailboat kind of big, Sport Furies and those kinds of things.
Okay.
But it's always taken I've kind of always started them. And then, I get wrapped up in this, and this is a full-time thing.
Yeah, no doubt.
I wish I had time and resources to do
that. Now, you said at the top of the show you were the mayor of Brooks for a while.
Yeah.
I've been to Brooks once as I was doing a recruitment drive for Eveready at the time, looking for truck drivers.
Oh, okay.
This is like 15 plus years ago now.
Oh, okay.
But beautiful community.
Yep.
But I'm glad that you're here. I've never actually had a chance to speak with somebody from Brooks after I left. So, like Fort McMurray, main industry, oil and gas, obviously.
Yep.
I was shocked, and the reason I went to Brooks for recruitment was because there was a condensed amount of truck drivers that were there, as well as swampers and labor staff that we needed to hire. We felt that the meatpacking plant could offer some of the same labor.
Yep.
How did that industry gain a foothold in Brooks?
Like the meat packing
Yeah.
plant, the processing plant?
Yeah.
Well, actually, the plant itself was established like 55 years ago by some local people.
Right.
So it's been so the industries in Brooks, farm and ranching, agriculture really big.
Right.
Also oil and gas is really big.
That's right.
Gas especially.
Yes.
So some locals got together and thought that they should value add to what was happening. I don't know all the political reasons, because there was probably other things, but
Yes.
that's what happened. Plant rubbled along for a long time.
Right.
But in 1998, it got sold to an American interest.
Okay.
American interest came into it.
Okay.
And it expanded big time.
Oh,
Added
okay.
1,000 employees and a couple shifts. And
Right.
right now, it's 3,000 employees,
Holy.
3 shifts, two processing shifts, a cleaning shift.
Yeah.
About $3 billion of GDP to the Alberta economy.
Yeah.
Yeah, million cattle a year go.
Yeah. It's amazing.
So we
Holy cow.
Yeah.
yeah, that's right. Yeah. And it's brought a really diversity to our community.
That's right.
We think we're the most diverse community in Canada. Got over 100 languages spoken. 38% of our population is visible minorities, and
Yeah.
probably a majority of them have immigrated there in the last 25 years.
Yeah. It was really cool to see because at the time there was a lot of parallels happening with Brooks and Fort McMurray, just like visually that I personally could see. And a big component is what you're saying is the multicultural component was becoming like, and you just don't think about that so much in Alberta. Fort McMurray is very heavily East Coast driven for our expansion in like the 80s and 90s early, and then all of a sudden you just saw globally people started to immigrate to Alberta. And when I went to Brooks, I was like, wow, there's like a lot of people from Africa here.
Yeah, no, that's where it started. It was East Africa, but a huge Filipino community, as I know you do up here.
Yeah.
Central America, Colombian, Chinese. There were actually lots of Europeans starting to come over. It's kind of wherever it kind of comes in waves, but they're amazing people for the most part.
Yeah.
Like every other population, you always have some people, right?
Yeah,
You have
that's right.
trouble, but
Yeah.
amazing stories. They're here to make their life better.
Yeah.
They provide a huge economic value to this province. And they do jobs that other people won't.
That's right.
And they do them willingly. And
That's right.
Yeah, they're awesome people.
Yeah, it was one of those things when I was in human resources for years prior to this fun stuff. But yeah, the LMO process and getting people over and their families, they really wanted to come, and like you said, it was one of those things where I was shocked the first conference I went to learn a little bit more about the LMO process. You had companies like Wendy's and Tim Hortons and Pizza 73 there, and I'm thinking, like, I work for this big oil and gas company. I'm spending so much money getting people from Europe and Africa and all these places. What are these fast food chains doing here? They're like, listen, for these entry level positions, we can't get people locally to do them.
Yeah.
We have to go abroad to get them to come over.
And it's really cool. I'm glad you're listening when you were talking about families, because I think that's one of the really big differences that has evolved in our community over time, is that they've got to recruit families, and they're establishing themselves.
That's right.
You know, their parents are with them and their kids are with them, and yeah, it's really cool to see how much they've contributed.
Yeah.
And really in how much our community has accepted. It takes a long time to get through that. You know, we were for 100 years. We're pretty European. That's kind of it, right? You didn't
That's right.
see a lot of different colors around.
Yeah.
You saw a few here and there, but so to see it now, it's fascinating.
Yeah. Now with yourself, as you talked at the beginning of the show, you are multicultural as well.
Yeah.
You have a Japanese background.
Yeah.
Have you ever been back to, or like, to visit? Was that a part of?
I'd love to go.
Yeah.
It's on my bucket list. I've traveled quite a bit.
Yeah.
But I've never made it to Japan.
Oh.
So one of these days I gotta go. My first job though is I really want to go out to the West Coast. There's a Nikkei, and I've been there, but I've never been to the Nikkei Museum.
Okay.
There's a lot of historical stuff around Japanese families that came.
Right.
That moved from the West Coast, or moved from BC into Alberta, and kind of a lot of stuff.
That's
pretty
right.
cool. So that'll be where I start my journey one of these days.
Yeah.
Yeah, hope to end up in Japan and see some relatives.
Okay.
It'll be cool.
It's a bucket list location for myself as well. My siblings have gone. I've had lots of friends that have gone. I just got that Japanese whiskey as a gift a few days ago.
Okay.
So, Japan looks like a very cool and unique place. And I actually had the cheapest ticket booked ever to go to Japan. And then, well, it was because I didn't think COVID was going to last this long.
Yeah.
Is what it came down to. So in the
None
first,
of us did.
Yeah. So in the first few months of it, Air Canada had this deal to fly from Edmonton, Vancouver direct to Tokyo,
Oh, wow.
and the same way back. Return for $532.
What? Holy.
And it was for the following. So I booked it. I don't know. It was like for 9 months later.
Okay.
And I was like, COVID's gonna be done in 9 months. It sure wasn't. So I haven't made it to Japan.
Well, that's cool. So what drove your siblings there? Like, why would your siblings go?
We come from a family of travelers. We like
okay.
my parents from a very young age. They immigrated from Guyana, South America, to Canada, and it was one of those things that every summer my mom thought it was very important to take us somewhere. Yeah. So maybe if it was only traveling through Alberta, going to Drumheller, or going to Brooks, or like going to Miami or back to Guyana, traveling was see different cultures, get a different perspective on the world. You're very blessed that you live in Canada, especially Fort McMurray, especially Alberta. Yeah. That's not the world. Yeah. So go out and see other things. Yeah. And so, so through travel, both of my siblings have made it to Japan, and same with my parents. My parents, the amount of countries they've hit, it's not even
That's so fair. Cool. Yeah, I got to go when I was 17 to Europe for 21 days, and changes your life, right?
Yeah, so, it does.
It really makes you appreciate what you have, but also gives you an empathy for what happens around the rest of the planet. Like
that's right. That's right.
We're lucky here.
We are. Very lucky. So listen, my man, that's it. That's the end of our 20 minutes. That being said, before I cut you loose, everybody gets a shameless shout out or plug. So you have the mics, the camera, and the lights. Have fun.
All right. Well, Elliot, thanks very much. That was cool. I really enjoyed it. People out there, the Alberta Party gives us another option in politics, and politics shouldn't be a dirty word. It should be something that we embrace. It should be noble. It should be a good calling, not something we despise. So look us up, check us out, contact me directly, and come and see what Alberta could look like if we got the right people in place. So thanks a lot.
Very cool. Well, listen, I know you're not from Fort McMurray, but you come here from time to time. Please feel free to come back again and again. Anytime you want, that seat is open for you.
Okay, thank
Cool.
you very much.
Awesome, my man. Well, Fort McMurray, Wood Buffalo, and the rest of the world, that's been another episode of the Mac City Morning Show. Thank you so much for tuning in. It does mean the world to me. Big shout out to our title sponsor, Noral Toyota, for sponsoring the show. We appreciate that. Everybody else, have a great day, and I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.
What a deadly old way to end another morning show. Later, boss.
It's so ballistic!
Talk about quenching your ugly thirst.